Do you want to know the best spots to live at Smith Mountain Lake?
Well, today we're going to dive into the 3 counties that will put you waterfront at Smith Mountain Lake.
And hey, while you're at it, if this is your first time or you're finding value in our videos, please like and subscribe.
So we have people reaching out to us all the time now about living at Smith Mountain Lake. And you're going to need to make an informed decision, right? There's so many variables within the 3 counties that surround Smith Mountain Lake. You've got 500 miles of shoreline, which makes it an amazing opportunity to get waterfront property, right? So you're going to be looking in Pennsylvania County, you're going to be looking in Bedford County and Franklin County when you start looking for that lake lifestyle here in Virginia.
500 miles of shoreline. That's a lot, y'all. And while you could probably find houses and property in any of these counties, let's really dig deep into cost of living and also what a typical house price is and what you can expect to find in each area.
Yeah,
right?
amenities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So each one is variable. There's some ups and some downs, some pros and cons to each one. That's what we're going to dig into now.
Okay, so one of the biggest things you're going to be looking at when you start to look for a property at Smith Mountain Lake is going to be your budget. And your budget's going to be impacted by your cost of living, right? So cost of living at all of these spots is a little bit different, but very similar. And your biggest cost is going to be what? Housing. So that's going to be your biggest cost and your biggest variable when it comes to your cost of living and your budget when you start looking for a house at Smith Mountain Lake.
I always think cost of living too, you have to weigh the quality of life. So keep that in mind. When you're talking about cost of living, it may be a little higher than national or state average, but you're getting this great quality of life, right?
Yeah, and you're looking for waterfront or you're looking for like close to the lake, so there's usually a premium to pay for that.
That's absolutely. Yeah, and the mountains that surround it, gorgeous, y'all. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about those types of houses. And their locations. Yeah. So types of homes vary widely. You can have condos, townhouses, single family homes, lake lots, and you can also have things that are right on the waterfront. You can have water access, or you can be off of the lake within a short drive to public landings.
That's right, yes.
What would you like?
Waterfront. If I'm going to live at the lake, I want to be waterfront. If I want to live at the beach, which I'm not a big beach person, but I would want to live right on the ocean. If I'm going to be there, I want to be right at the water.
Yeah, see that sunrise? That would be beautiful.
Yeah, people like to make fun of me for that, but I love it, and I'm very adamant about it for some reason. Passionate, not adamant. Yeah, as Chris mentioned, I want to be waterfront, right? So for purposes of our discussion today, we're looking at waterfront properties, right? So if you're going to be at the lake, we're going to recommend being waterfront if at all possible, if it fits into your budget. So I dug into some numbers here. So let's take a look at things so you can get a cost comparison for each county as far as like kind of what you get for your budget. First off, let's look at median price points for each county, right? For waterfront property. And this includes like a combination of condos, townhouses, single family, you name it, that encompasses this median price point. So for Bedford County, you're looking at $710,000, and that goes anywhere from like a condo that costs $130,000 to an actual single family that sold for $8 million.
I want to see that house.
Holy cow.
Wow.
I was just baffled by that one. And then for Franklin County, you've got a median price point of $755,000. So a little bit more in Franklin County, honestly. And then waterfront condo, $120,000, like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And then single family, like sold like up to like $3.1 million. So not quite as exorbitant as Bedford County on that side, but $3 million for a single family home there, waterfront.
Not too shabby.
No, not at all. And then Pennsylvania County, which is kind of like, there's not a whole lot going on over there when it comes to solds, to be honest with you. But waterfront condo, I mean, let's go back to median price. Median price point for lakefront, $508,000 thereabouts is the median price point for Pennsylvania County, side of Smith Mountain Lake. The condos were actually expensive there. The one that I was able to find that sold was $400,000, and then they had a single family waterfront in Pennsylvania County that sold for $1 million. So a little bit cheaper there as far as the pricing of the actual properties. So, and we're going to talk about in a few minutes, talk about the pros and the cons. You'll kind of see maybe why that is. But over the last year, you know, if you're looking at activity and where things are actually selling, where people are actually putting their homes in the market, where people are purchasing, you know, in Bedford County, there was 122 properties that sold that were waterfront on Smith Mountain Lake. Then you had 254 that sold in Franklin County over 2021 to 2022, and then only 13 that sold in Pennsylvania County. So
well, that kind of makes sense, because whenever I think about Smith Mountain Lake, I'm always thinking about Bedford and Franklin counties. Those are going to be your major areas that you're going to look within.
Yeah, they are, absolutely, yeah. And Pennsylvania County also has Leesville Lake too, which is a totally different story, but you got Leesville Lake and Smith Mountain Lake that abut Pennsylvania County. All right, so why don't you tell them about taxes?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
Because everybody loves to hear about taxes.
That's right, that's what I was thinking. It'll come off nicer from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, we're talking about real estate taxes. Let's just estimate that we've bought a $500,000 house, and let's look through the different counties. Bedford County, if you bought a $500,000 house, the real estate taxes annually are going to equate to about $2,500. Whereas in Franklin County, $500,000 house, you're gonna expect to pay about $3,000 in those real estate taxes. And then Pennsylvania, you're looking at about $3,100 in those real estate taxes annually. I mean, some places, some people we've heard from, these are taxes monthly.
Yeah, like in the Northeast and out west in California, taxes are just crazy. So these are kind of cheap.
Right, right. Don't forget, you also have personal property tax, and the least expensive is going to be in Bedford County, but just by a slight margin. So while there's pros and cons to every place, there's no perfect place, right?
No, definitely not.
You need to go in with your eyes wide open. So let's talk about those upsides and downsides of each one. For the upsides of Bedford, Franklin, and Pennsylvania, let's do them one by one.
Okay.
Bedford County.
That's perfect. Yeah, so Bedford County, and one of the upsides is going to be short-term rental rules and regulations, right? So it's super easy to take care of and actually have a short-term rental or, quote, Airbnb in Bedford County.
Yeah, and I think amenities too. I mean, we have a whole list, but the top 2 or 3 are those amenities in Bedford County. Things are pretty close by. You've got a pretty active scene, public boat launches, and anything that you need, really.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then let's go to Franklin County, right? So what's the first pro of Franklin County?
I think of Westlake, talking about amenities, kind of dovetailing. Westlake is kind of this community center and this hub. When we went, it was really fun just to see the amount of activity that there was.
Yeah, and then let's look at convenience, right?
Yeah, that's
for Franklin County. So Franklin County side of Smith Mountain Lake, you're going to be close in to Roanoke. So I was just going out there yesterday, or actually it was Monday, for a final walkthrough with a client. And as I was going down there, I was going down there like 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness, the amount of traffic coming into Roanoke, I was so surprised. So lots of people live at the lake and they commute into Roanoke so they can have that lake lifestyle and they feel like they're on vacation when they're not at work.
And Bedford really isn't that hard to access either, but it feels like Franklin County is a little closer to Roanoke.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, Bedford, you feel like that side of you're going to be closer to like Lynchburg.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then for Pennsylvania, I would say probably price.
Yeah, so the pricing in Pennsylvania County, as if you remember, like we were in the $700,000 range for Bedford and for Franklin County, whereas Pennsylvania we were in the $500,000 range for a single family home, waterfront, or medium price point over there.
So let's quickly go through the negatives, because there's a whole lot of positives, but we had to really dig deep for that. The negatives of Bedford, maybe a little less homes available right now. That doesn't mean that can't change though, and also there may be more lots available over time.
That's true, yeah, because remember we were talking about that earlier, 122 sold last year in Bedford versus 254 in Franklin County, so as you can see, more homes sold in Franklin County, so that could be a negative for you related to Bedford. And then, I get to talk about Franklin County again? Sure. I like short-term rentals, right? So in Franklin County, they are working on their rules and regulations for Airbnbs down there because they're a lot more stricter and tighter right now, but they are making some modifications to the rules and regulations. So in the future, you could have more flexibility for short-term rentals in Franklin County, but right now, a little tight on that.
Yeah, and I would say the con or disadvantage of Pennsylvania County just seems to be lack of inventory, amenities, things like that. I don't associate that area with having a lot going on, but that might be just your speed. So you need to keep that in mind. Another thing you want to keep in mind with lake living is internet access. A lot of people are looking for internet, high-speed internet access. You need to do your due diligence, make sure you have what you need.
Yeah, we've actually reached out to the Franklin County side of things, their broadband authority that they have in place now. And they're actually, I heard, over the next year between 2023 to 2024 at the latest, I think, almost everybody in Franklin County is gonna have high-speed internet, so.
That would be great.
That would be awesome. Remember, if you're looking to move to or within Roanoke or the Smith Mountain Lake area, please give Colin Realty Group a call.
Like and follow us for more videos just like this.
Until next time, Roanoke.